What's up, Kickin Lawyer crew? So today we're going to talk about something that all of you love getting, I know, and that's the red light tickets for red light camera tickets for either running the red light, or sometimes you get stationary. There's this vehicle stationary and they give you speeding tickets, or sometimes you get speeding tickets on the red lights. Now I want to preface this again by reminding you that I'm a Tennessee lawyer, so the information that I'm giving you is kind of skewed towards Tennessee law. But I kind of give you a general overview. So what I'm talking about, usually in the mail, you'll get one of these things. So that's one that I got, but it's not me. So like therein lies one of the problems. So a lot of times you'll get these in the mail, and there are several problems with them. And I'll tell you what I do with them. So let's back up. In Tennessee, back I think last year, there was a senator or state rep, maybe he's a state representative named Andy Holt, and he got a little popularity there for a bit because he burned one on some kind of video online. He had one and just set it on fire. He was all upset about it, and kind of rightly so. So just to give you a little background, normally these are citations, automated citations that you get for, again, like I said, either running the red light, which is disregard a stop sign or signal, same things like running a stop sign, or for a speeding violation. Those are usually what they're for. And what they usually do is they'll be labeled at the top like they're this official citation from the department. This one has got a police department at the top in my area. And then it'll have like the offending time and everything. And they have changed them some. So one thing that I think even Andy Holt got pushed through legislation is where like this one complies with that new statute. At the bottom, it does say that it says payment is required by law, but non-payment of this notice cannot adversely affect your credit score or report, driver's license, and or automobile insurance rates. So that's important. If you get it, check and make sure it's got that language. If not, I think it's going to be invalid, at least in Tennessee, on its face. So a couple of issues with them, and I'll tell you what I do with them personally. First of all, so to get cited for a criminal offense, pretty much anywhere, if it's a misdemeanor offense, it has to occur in the officer's presence. So a police officer, there are a couple of exceptions, but speeding is generally not one of them. The example I give you is, let's say you're driving around 800 miles an hour, somebody calls it in, tells the cops there's a reckless driver. Well, in order to cite you for that offense, the cop needs to observe that happening. It has to be in his presence. He can't arrest you for the misdemeanor otherwise. And there are a couple of exceptions, like a DUI. If you leave the scene of an accident, they can charge you with a DUI, which is a misdemeanor offense. And then domestic assault is also one in Tennessee that they can, after the fact, even though they didn't observe it, based on the appropriate amount of evidence, they can charge you with the offense after the fact. Speeding and disregarding a stop sign or signal are not on that list. So the first issue is, in order for you to get a legal citation, it's supposed to be issued by a police officer. So it has to have been in their presence. They have to observe it. So if that doesn't happen, automatically it should be kind of void on its face, or at a minimum, it's a defense for you. Number two would be, even if it is checked, what they try to do is they get it to where, like this one has, it says there's a police officer signature, and it's based on his inspection of this footage and everything, that's supposed to make it valid. It's still arguable to me that it's a defense that it didn't happen in his presence or her presence. The police officer has to observe it when it's happening, not after the fact. Not to mention that on this one, it's actually my son was driving my vehicle, and it's titled to my grandmother and me. My grandmother is deceased, God rest her soul, sweet, wonderful woman who I love still. But obviously she wasn't driving. I wasn't driving, but the ticket's to us. So it's a misdemeanor offense that didn't occur in the cop's presence. There's no visual depiction on the camera. It's just the back of the vehicle beside an 18-wheeler that looks like is running the red light too. And it's questionable to me, even if the red light is being run. Regardless, those are definitely hard issues that to me should make this be dismissed regardless. They're strong defenses. One last thing, and this is probably the most important issue with them. If it's a civil action, there has to be proper legal service. And just mailing it to me like that, how do they know I even got it? It needs to be either served by a process server or through certified mail, and none of those ever happen. Part of the problem is a lot of people can't afford to hire me or another lawyer necessarily to fight them because the fine is so minor. I think this one's like $50, and then it says if it's not paid in a certain amount of time that it goes up to $75 as a penalty. And even then, it's still probably cheaper than hiring us to come handling it, because a ticket depending on the lawyer's experience, you're talking $150 probably to $250, $300 just for one of us to show up to handle it. But anyway, so here's what I do with these. When I get these in the mail, this is a real one. I take them and I do this, like this. Yes. Let's see that one more time. And then I put them in a little garbage can over here. And then I just forget about them, because they're not going to affect my driving history. That I've probably thrown away, I don't know, 12 or 15 of them. Some might have been valid and some weren't, like that, where it's somebody else driving the vehicle. But it's, to me, just a waste of my time, and I think there are solid defenses if they tried to pursue them on some civil level, but there's not going to be a criminal penalty. There's just nothing else that's going to happen. They have no authority to do it because they're not properly executed citations, criminal citations under Tennessee law. So you do what you want with them. I'm not saying that they won't do things like, I suppose if it's a civil penalty, they could put a lien against your property, but it's $50, $75 tops. I would think it would cost more to file the lien than it does for the amount they're trying to recover. So that is my opinion on them. Is you take that as you will. That is both my personal and professional opinion. I don't think they are valid legal citations, and there's cities all over the place using them and trying to prosecute them and I guess collect the money on them. It's good revenue for the cities, but they need to be properly done. If an officer's not sitting there watching it, I think it's a big deal. It's not proper service. There's just so many negatives that I just don't see how that you could be hurt that bad by ignoring them. So, but if you do get hemmed up in something bigger than that, or even these citations, feel free to call us and we'd be glad to help them out. I got the numbers and email and everything below here. I'd be glad to talk to you about it at any time. So I appreciate your time. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please like or comment, subscribe to the channel, and we can stay up to date when I post different things. And hey, give me a comment or something. I love when you guys let me know something you're interested in hearing about. I'd be glad to post some information about that. So thanks for your time. Have a good day.